I see no objections. It is so decided.
A standing ovation greeted the news that the United Nations Environment Assembly had adopted the resolution to end plastic pollution. After lengthy deliberations, the President of the United Nations Environment Assembly gavelled the highly anticipated resolution, and representatives from 175 member countries attending the forum endorsed the historic agreement. The excitement was justified. The Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, Inger Andersen, called it the most important environmental deal since the Paris Accord.
It will be for public sector and private sector alike to manage a transition into a circular plastic economy. And the scourge of plastics has really been at the center of our attention here, because we know now that if we don't stop in time, we will create an enormous problem which is really hard to beat later. So it's really about time that we get this focus on plastic.
Plastic production has risen exponentially in the last few decades and now amounts to about 400 tons a year, a number that is set to double by the year 2040. This resolution is a first step in rolling this back. Plastic pollution is a soaring environmental crisis that is destroying marine habitats and contaminating the food chain. The Plastics Treaty is aimed at addressing the full life cycle of plastic from source to sea, while addressing all sources of pollution along that cycle. While the resolutions adopted at the Assembly may not be legally binding, they define areas of priority by member states for action and define the UN Environment Programme's program of work. They also help to build consensus among member states.
It is this spirit of cooperation we have witnessed here at UNEA that will lead us to success in developing a treaty to end plastic pollution. However, we know that the real work now begins. That is why a like-minded group of nations has come together to create the High Ambition Coalition to end plastic pollution.
An intergovernmental negotiating committee will now be formed to agree on the details of a full global treaty with the goal of having an agreement ready for ratification in 2024.